Hi, it's Anthony from CarPlayLife.com, and today we're checking out a new AI box from Ottercast, the U2 Lite. This is an entry-level, low-cost AI box, which means it runs Android 10 and also has the ability to run wireless CarPlay as well as wireless Android Auto. It uses a simplified menu UI, which is very similar to some of the more current AI boxes that are running a faster chipset at the moment. It has 4G SIM card functionality, the original touchscreen and steering wheel controls, as well as center console, joystick, dials or buttons. It supports 99% of cars with wired CarPlay. However, it's not suitable for Mitsubishi vehicles. Being entry level, it is 2GB of RAM and 32GB of internal storage. There is a quad-core CPU inside rather than the more high-end 8-core chips that you find in other AI boxes, and it has a built-in GPS. So let's have a look at what's inside the box. So here's everything that comes inside the box. You have a warranty and support card to get in touch if you have any issues, a small paper manual user guide that tells you how to get the box set up, how to get it connected to CarPlay and Android Auto, as well as hands-free calling, and also how to update the dongle. You get the dongle itself, USB-A to USB-C, and you also get one USB-C to C for more modern CarPlay vehicles. So let's have a look at this box itself. It's a plastic material, it's all been rounded off. We've got some air vents on the top and bottom side for easy air circulation inside the case. If measurements are important, it's just over about 9 centimeters long, around 5.7 centimeters wide, and it's just around 1.5 centimeters deep. There's nothing on the sides. There's some small Android branding at the top, and you've got AI adapter at the bottom. Nothing on the back. On the top side, looks like we've got some status indicator holes that we're going to see some lights flashing up on. And on the other side, we've got the business end where you've got micro SD. You've also got the micro SIM slots, USB-C for the cable, and then another, well, it's like either a reset or status light here. There's no SIM tray. There's just a straight insert into the card slot, and we've got some illustrations here of which direction the cards should be inserted in. And we'll be basically connecting the USB-C cable into the port at the back, and the USB-A cable will be going into our center console CarPlay port. So I'm looking at probably a lower end experience. We'll get this in the car now and see how well it performs. Right, so we're in the Golf. We've got the Ottercast U2 Lite here. We're going to plug the USB-A end into the CarPlay port. So we're going to switch on for the first time and see exactly how long it takes to boot up into the main menu interface. There's no lights on this end from what I can see. We do have a blue light on the bottom there, so that just tells us everything that we need to know in terms of what the dongle's doing. And then we're into the Android system, Android starting, and it's all formatting all the menu interface to my resolution of the system itself. Now it looks like it has to reboot just because it's probably reassigning all the various screen resolutions and the DPI for my system since I plugged it into the Coral Vision Lite initially to get everything all set up. So we've been to the main menu interface. You can see everything is a lot more colorful and a lot more vibrant than other dongles. They've actually thought about the UI a little bit more than other dongle makers, and I think this is my preferred UI interface. It's all well formatted. All the additional apps that you might have downloaded from the Play Store have this treatment around them, so nothing looks that disjointed, and it all looks quite seamless and harmless. There's no floating menu buttons here, which is really, really good for me because I really hate that. You've got a back button that takes you back from the apps to the main interface. You have a home button, and then you have the last three apps, and then you've got a clock, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi indicators. There's a now playing screen which will take you straight to the media player. I don't think you can actually move this. You can move these icons if you wanted to different pages, so that's possible, but it looks like you can't remove this panel, which is a little unfortunate when you want just all the main icons to be maybe front and center. So that's the one little detriment. Settings here, we've got all the Android OS settings menu all accessible to us. We have a independent car menu, so this is going to be specific to the dongle. And from here you can choose things like a couple of new things you can hear related to navigation and the GPS monitor. The GPS is built in, as I said before, so that's going to detect everything on your system there. And we go back. Driving settings, you've got locking of video, should you want that functionality. Otherwise, videos will play regardless of whether you're driving or not. You can block notifications, and block network settings whilst you're active. And there's a factory settings menu there. Main menu system says it runs Android 10 and it's giving away all the CPU, 1.3 gigahertz with just under 2 gig of RAM. So everything that we've come to expect. There's nothing new here. We've got security section, so you can securely lock the dongle away. So should you get it stolen, you're not going to give away all your Google accounts or your any other accounts that you've logged in. Like, you can set a PIN code in this version of the OS. Generally with Bluetooth, you've got your Bluetooth options. So you can actually stream music from other connected devices. These will actually appear up here and you can tap and you can then pair with them that way, or you could pair from your phone. And that's for things like calling, as well as using it for Bluetooth streaming of audio. Navigation is going to choose which apps you want to use for navigation. Here we're going to select Google Maps. And you've got AP Assistant dock here on the side, so that's going to stay in there. It might go away, doesn't look like it's going to, but I haven't got connected to the internet yet, so we'll go back to that in a minute. Car is going to take us back to the system, and then tapping Apple CarPlay will take us back to the Android menu. Music will be from a flash card or on the onboard storage or through Bluetooth streaming. Gallery for things like wallpapers, if you want to browse photographs from a storage card, for example, or that's been unloaded onto the main storage. APK installer, should you have apps like Disney Plus, for example, which might not be supported through Google Play on this particular platform, you can download the APK from an APK mirror site and install the APK of that particular app on the system. Video, it's going to use onboard storage as well as flash storage. File browser is an easy way to get access to all your files that are located on the actual storage itself, as well as the flash card. Chrome is going to be your Google browser. So once you're connected to the internet, you'll be able to browse the internet that way. Clock is not probably going to be something you might use in the car, but that functionality is there. Google Assistant, Google Maps we've seen in a minute. Netflix and everything else is going to require some form of internet connection, so we'll get connected in a second. Multiplay is basically CarPlay or Android Auto wirelessly. You won't be able to use the USB connection. It will only function over wireless. So you've got to make sure that your Android Auto runs Android 11 or above to enable that and that functionality. From here, it's very similar to all the other CarPlay Android apps. You can choose your manufacturer, so that appears on your CarPlay screen. You can hide the application once it disconnects. You can have auto wirelessly connect. You can change the menu dock from left or right if your system doesn't support that. And you can play around with the microphone gain to improve your internal microphone of your car, should it be not so supportive or sufficient. So let's get connected to CarPlay first. So to do that, you need to load up the Bluetooth menu, wait for the device to kick in. I believe it's 4 zeros, and then you pair, and you can see that it's now connecting to the display, asking me to use for wireless CarPlay. And then once we're in, detected my phone, and now we're into CarPlay. So that's pretty good. That's pretty seamless, nice and fast as well. And from here, CarPlay is going to function as expected. The dock's on the right because I've set it to that. We can do a quick sound test, but everything is going to be pretty much exactly the same as we've expected with other CarPlay dongles. Use the wheel controls. I'm back. So that's all working fine. GPS navigation is going to come directly through the phone. So that's all going to be word commands that way.
Then turn right onto Hempstead Road.
So that's going to come from the speakers. So that's really cool. It's not using the lower quality version for navigation, but it shouldn't anyway in CarPlay. Let's try Siri with the button on the wheel controls. Send an audio message to test.
Okay, recording.
Hi, this is Anthony from CarPlayLive.com, and this is an audio test using the Autocast U2 Lite Android AI box.
Send it to test. Okay, it's sent.
So Siri using almost a different channel. It's not Bluetooth or low, I think it's using the low quality. So that might be beneficial for calling, but I think the microphone is exactly the same, so it's not using an independent microphone port or channel. It's just using what is existing in my car. So situation normal here for CarPlay. Expect the normal interactions with wireless CarPlay. So you've got the audio delay for audio playback through streaming. Navigation is going to have a slight delay. and calling. That's all the traits that you're going to get with wireless CarPlay, so that's nothing you can really avoid. But getting in and out of CarPlay, super easy. Back to the main menu and then back into multiplayer again to get back into CarPlay, nice and quick. A little bit laggy there, but you got to think this is a lower powered device. It's a 4-core instead of an 8-core, so you will have slight performance and reliability. I can't really test the long term of this dongle because I haven't had it long enough to see if it crashes over long journeys. Right, so let's check out Android Auto wirelessly. Again, it's done through the Multiplay app. We don't want to connect to CarPlay. To get Android Auto running wirelessly, obviously you need Android 11. I've got my Google 5 Pixel here, and we basically go to our Bluetooth settings, pair with a new device, finds the dongle, we pair to it, we give it all the zeros. That's now active. It's now found this on the system as Android Auto, and it's failed. So that's a little unfortunate.
A few moments later.
Right, so that didn't work. I'm going to restart the dongle. I'm restarting my Pixel as well. Right, so we're going to pair a new device. Found the Picasso. I'm going to enter in the 0 password, allow contact access, connecting, and it looks like we're in. So on the first attempt, it didn't quite work. I had to restart my Pixel as well as restart the car. But now forgetting and repairing, I were able to get into Android Auto. So once we're into Android Auto, it's picking up my playback already. The Spotify app is already playing the tunes. We've got the dock situated to the right, so it's picked up that from the Multiplay app. But general Android Auto, so without data, it's not going to really do the navigation as such. You should get at least turn-by-turn commands. But yeah, that's pretty good. Audio's playing back via that too, and it's obviously got all the support through the various apps, and my wallpaper that I assigned to my Pixel is being pulled in as well. Try the wheel controls. That loads up the Google Assistant, so that's really good. And obviously you can press it again to cancel. Navigation is coming across there. Spotify works all good. And that's just general Android in a nutshell, really. So that all works perfectly fine with the Google Pixel 5 running Android 12. And so you go back to the system, you would just hit exit, and then you're back to the main menu again. So let's get this connected to the internet. So to do that, you can do it in a number of ways. You can either do it through connecting the dongle to a personal hotspot, or you could actually use the built-in SIM card tray and give it a data SIM to give you the internet. If you're local, or if you're near a Wi-Fi source, such as a MiFi device in the car, or you're actually near the home, or you're close to a stable Wi-Fi connection, you can just connect the dongle to that Wi-Fi connection instead. For me, and in this demo, I'm going to connect it to my router in the house because it's a little bit more reliable. So to do that, you go to Wi-Fi settings, you turn Wi-Fi on. That's going to disconnect CarPlay because CarPlay can't really connect to the two things at once. So I'm just going to disable the Bluetooth connection so that it doesn't reconnect back. Then we're going to connect to our 5G router in the house. All right, seamlessly connected. So this is really good because some of the earlier dongles really did struggle with a Wi-Fi connection, ending up being saved and it's not really gets connected. But we are connected. So now we can do navigation and we can load up Google Maps. And you can see that it's going to start pulling in all the content. Maps
Head
there.
northwest on Stanmer Avenue, then turn right to stay on Stanmer Avenue.
So the sound of navigation is coming through the car speakers, so that's good. We'll test Spotify alongside the map. You can see we've got a map tile here. We'll just turn that off. That will come in once you're navigating through Google. We'll just fire up Spotify. So getting into apps is noticeably slower than some other dongles with a lot less power CPU inside. So long pressing the back button is going to give you a sort of task manager so you can quit and close apps. We won't be doing that yet. You can do Google Assistant from the home button. So with that playing, we'll go to Google Maps now. And there's our low quality mode. And that's staying in low quality mode. And again, it locks out you can see it's in calling mode, which is the lowest quality mode. So to fix that, we'll cancel the navigation. It seems it only happens when you're in navigation, but to fix that, we'll go to the home screen, tap on your profile, go down to settings, then go down to navigation settings, scroll to near to the bottom for OK Google detection, and then turn off while driving. Then going back, we accept all those things. Now if we go into navigation again,
Head northwest on Stanmer
and we're
Avenue,
back
then
again.
turn right to stay on Stanmer Avenue.
So that's how to fix that issue. It's a common issue on any single dongle. You just have to set that once and it shouldn't have to happen again. So we got that working. I'm not quite sure how you could do split screen on here. So switching back and forth is fairly simple, fairly easy. So that's Google Maps. The Play Store is just as you'd expect with any apps that you can download, games, so on, you can play on this device. Bear in mind that it is only got quite a low CPU and a GPU, so heavy intensive games really aren't going to work with this dongle that well. But things like Candy Crush and very lightweight games, they should work without any problem. So in things like Crossy Road, it does struggle a little bit with that. And also there's a sound issue as well, not being able to get sound working in the game. But it might be this particular game that it has problems with. But when you get anything that's full screen, you can swipe or swipe from the top and you can get access to the side dock again. That will then take you back. So that's a much more preferred gesture rather than having floating buttons. That's what I would probably prefer. Now, while you're here, you probably want to know how well does it perform with YouTube. So we'll go into our channel and see how well YouTube plays. Hi, it's Anthony from okuplay.com and happy holidays. If you have just unwrapped a shiny new MetaQuest 2 headset this holiday season, then keep watching to learn more about my essential and recommend. So YouTube's not too bad. It a little bit slow again with the CPU in terms of scrubbing, and obviously that's only going to be down to your data connection, how well it can pull that new stream down to your dongle. But I am running over 5G network here, so it should be definitely reliable enough. It does weirdly show in this kind of like tablet mode. You have to like press on to select it, but audio sync it works. So let's come out of this, we go back. You can either go back again and then search and browse through the videos that you want. It plays in this little window here inside the app itself. I don't think if you were to exit, no, the audio cancels, so you can't run that in the background, unfortunately. So we're in Netflix now. The same situation with just generally how everything works. Movies go full screen, got the usual scrubbing. That all works. So that's all in sync as well. Netflix runs really, really nice actually. It works really well. It's end of the day, it's just a video streaming app. It's really not doing a lot of groundwork. As long as it's got a nice fast data connection to get that stream in, it seems to handle it perfectly. Again, you can use downloads if you wanted to. You can download it to the internal storage and play movies back from the dongle that way, which is quite nice. And that same goes for any other app really, if that's supported. Again, Prime Video, that's available on the store. You can log into your Amazon account and watch all your videos through Prime Video as well. I couldn't see Disney Plus. That's again not available on rooted devices, so you'd have to get the APK, install it through the APK installer, and then you'll get access to the account that way. Let's just have a quick look over device info, what's available here. So unlike some other apps, we actually are running Android 10 here, Android 10Q. You can see it is running at 1.3 gig on all the 4 cores. So API level 9, Android 10. For the CPU, we've got a Qualcomm QCM2150 processor, 4 cores up to 1300 megahertz. And the GPU is a slightly less powered Adreno 308. Running at 270 megahertz, so it really is not going to perform that well in really high intensive games. Storage, we've got the RAM wise, we've got just under 2 gig, system using quite a bit of it, and you've got internal storage of 32 gig after the system. So all in all, as advertised, that is as you'd expect. I really like this UI, it's really, really nice. So with a SIM card, you can just literally insert the SIM card and you'll get your data through your SIM card, and you don't have to then connect it to a Wi-Fi hotspot or anything like that. That's probably a more preferred way of doing it, but I don't have a good enough working data SIM to try that out with. We're going to try an SD card with some media in it. So we're going to insert that copper side down like proper side facing up, so it's a little bit wrong. And it's detected our flash drive and it's playing these samples straight away. And it's picking up all the audio samples that are on that drive. So that's really, really nice. And the UI is very similar to the Apple UI on CarPlay, so that's a really nice touch. So that's audio. We can go to the video section. It's a shame you can't jump between the two, but we're going to look for the SD. It's found our video files and they're playing straight away. That's really, really nice. It is struggling with this high bitrate file. Again, down to the CPU. Yeah, it really is struggling there. The early ones with their bit faster 8-core CPUs, wow, it's really struggling now. Yeah, it handles this way better. And the newer 665 Qualcomm dongles are really going to fly with this kind of media. But for just general video playback of low quality or like 720p files, I don't think it's going to have a problem. So it really is a case of you get what you pay for with the performance of this dongle. So here we can connect Bluetooth to the device. So we're going to pair up again and it's immediately picked up my device. And from here we can play on the device itself. That's now playing over Bluetooth with the audio controlled over the Bluetooth volume on the device. Using the wheel controls, it's controlling my device and the system. So for that purpose, really, really good. I really like that. It's nice. It says that we're connected here as well. Music's going to come through the SD card, obviously, as we saw before. And obviously Bluetooth calling. It's going to access all your phone book if you've allowed it, previous history, and so on. And you can set up the different PIN codes if you wanted to. And you can actually have the phone auto answer if it comes through. So overall, I think this is a really good dongle. It's definitely get what you pay for, so it is a very low end. It does manage to do certain functionalities that you kind of would want anyway, and it does it quite well, but it is limited by that 4-core CPU, and that's why it's coming in at a lower price. It retails for $169 on their store at the moment. I haven't seen it available on Amazon UK at the moment, and I've not checked Amazon US yet, but if it's available, I'll put the price down on the side there. You're paying about double the price of this cost for a more well-established dongle. I'm not really sure how much the dongles with the faster 665 are selling for at the moment, but I'm sure they're going to be up at the high end. So it really is a case of you get what you pay for with this dongle. The 4 cores are going to allow you to do wireless CarPlay and Android Auto without any problems. But as for movies, it's going to be okay for that roughly, but navigation and browsing might be a little bit slow and a little bit sluggish on this processor. But the best thing for it is the menu system. I think this is probably the best menu system and interface for the Android AR boxes I've seen. And because I've seen this in the marketing brochures for the faster dongles, I'm really looking forward to getting some hands-on with those and seeing how well they perform with this UI as well. But overall, I think the UI is really, really nice. It gets rid of that floating button. It has that side persistent menu. I don't know if they've been listening to me. I keep saying that this is what they should be adopting. And it's really good to see the makers. I couldn't really see the PIN code that I mentioned earlier. That's a bit of a detriment to this dongle in that you don't have the ability to lock this dongle out should it get stolen in the car. Hopefully a software update can bring that functionality back in, because obviously it is in there in Android 10. It's just that you don't have the menu option to enable it. But if you're not too worried about that, then that's not an issue for you. But as you can see, this has been playing out YouTube content. It hasn't struggled at all, it hasn't skipped, all the audio is in sync, and it runs really well. So if you're looking for a low entry solution, then I'd definitely look at this U2 Lite. It has the best UI, it performs adequately. You don't want to push it too much in terms of games or any high intensive apps, but if you're not going to do that, then this is quite a sufficient dongle for its price. Right, thanks for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. If it has, leave us a like down below. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about this particular dongle. If you have any compatibility concerns, it's best that you ask the team and not me. I really can't answer that other than the Golf and this Alpine system. You can check out all my other Android AI box reviews up in the playlist up here. Hit that subscribe button down below to catch all my future content, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.